Welcome back, Jess here from Addiction, and we are going to go through the dipping process in this video. The first thing you're going to need is your bottle of Prep and Bond. What this does is just basically cleans off all the dust, all the oils off your nail bed, which is going to help you to have that beautiful long-lasting dip powder mani. Ideally, we want to get 2 or 3 weeks out of our sets because it does take a little bit of time and we don't want to be doing it every week unless we choose to. For the next step, we're going to need our base and our dip powder. This is Wildwood that I'm using in this video. Now, when you're applying your base, the biggest trick is to not use too much liquid. Only using a small amount is going to stop it from going into your cuticles and making a huge mess. When you're applying your base, you need to be thinking that everywhere that there is base is where the dip powder is going to stick. So if you get it on your skin, you're going to have dip powder on your skin, and once it's dried, it can be a little tricky to get off. So just wipe off most of the base coat and put on thin layers as you're going. Once you've finished, you just dip it in like I just did. Just do it slowly and carefully so the powder doesn't bunch up. Now this is my favorite tool. It is our cuticle tool. It's very sharp, so just be careful. You can see that it's stored inside of itself, so you don't stab yourself. Now what you want to do is just use that sharp tip to go around your cuticle to remove any dust and any powder that's stuck on your skin. That just creates a beautiful line in between your skin and the dip powder for a beautiful clean finish. Now just watch where I put the brush here. You can see that I'm starting in the middle of my nail. That just stops any overflow if I've got too much base on my brush. Starting in the middle allows me to spread that base around and get it exactly where I want it. So I always try and have the first touch on my nail in the middle because it just gives me more control over where I'm spreading it. Gently dipping in, tapping all the excess off. Looking good. Just going around the outside of my cuticle with my tool again. Any dip powder and base that gets stuck on your cuticle tool, you can just wipe off on your towel. And if you've got hard bits, you can pop it in your brush saver and that will remove it as well. Once again, starting in the middle of my nail and then pushing down towards the cuticle. Really try and avoid starting at your cuticle. It's just going to give you such a neat finish compared to when you get all that base coat flooding into the edges. Tapping off again. And running around the edges to get rid of anything extra before that base coat dries. Once again, starting in the middle of the nail and pushing down towards my cuticle. See how the brush just fans out slightly towards my cuticle? Just stops it going on the skin and lets me get into all the corners without it just going everywhere. And there you have it, dip number 1 all done. So off camera, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more dips on each nail. And once that's all done, I'm going to give it a good dust off with our brush. We don't want any excess powder hanging around because our next step is activation and we don't want those bits to be set hard. We are all ready to activate. Now the activator is just a liquid that evaporates really quickly, designed to harden your powder. So we're just going to go around and pop all that on, paying careful attention to the edges. You can see me do there. And now that we're almost done, we are going to let all this just evaporate and dry for a couple of minutes before we get stuck into our buffing and filing. We'll see you in the next video.